In the course of your professional photography, there are times that a client's going to ask you for absolutely magical retouching. It will happen. And in this case, the beautiful little mom and child image was just one of many good ones, but the grandma decided she loved the face so much she wanted a portrait of just the child. Not easy when there's parts missing and much work to do, but this is what we did and delivered to our happy customer from that previous image, the raw. And I'm just going to take you through a quick movie showing you how it was done. Enjoy. So here's how we did it. And because it was a longer, litigious kind of job, and I didn't narrate the whole thing while I was doing it because it was actually customer work. But here we are. We pasted a piece of the background over mom and then brought another piece of the child over and then had to match it up with some transformation here to get the hair back that was missing on the other side. It takes just a few clicks to try and make it fit beautifully. And then we turn it on and off to see if we're accurate yet, and we're not quite accurate. As you can see, when we flick to the original with mom in it, you can see it's still just off a little bit. Zooming in makes it easier sometimes. Watch those little tiny moves until we get it just right. Let's see. And then we're going to have to erase through the new layer to blend. That's what we'll be doing here, is erasing. Try and recover as much, probably 95% of the old one, but blending into the new hair and the right side, our right side, that was missing. So that's what we're doing there, erasing through to the accurate one. And you have to go all the way through to the chin so it stays in scale and correct. And this is a small piece of a digital file, so it's only going to be maybe 5, 6, 7, 8 megabyte by the time I crop into just the child. And that's what mom, grandmother in this case, wanted. So she bought plenty of other poses, but loved this enough to want to have this done in a custom retouched style. This can take a while to do. Here we're just cleaning up, and you're going to see me erase the rest of mom and restore some of the hair, then erase the child's hand, because for the head and shoulder portrait we're going to make, you won't need it. So we're just restoring some of that, what is underneath of the pasted layer. Get as much of the original as you possibly can. Just using an erase tool, usually at a lesser opacity. I'm always checking back and forth to see how far off I am from the original. That's the great thing about layers. You know, Photoshop, the original Photoshop, which I started with, which might have been 1990, 91, maybe in there, had no layers. You worked on the one image, and there was only one undo, if you can believe that. So we're recreating some sleeve on the shadow side. This will take several passes, and you got to keep zooming in and out to make sure you're accurate in your scale. We need a lot more width on her. You're going to see us remove her hand, build up her sleeve, get mom completely out of there. Some of this is underneath, and some of it is being created by cloning. Now, again, we're just going for head and shoulders, So at some point here, we'll just start cropping into the area that we're going to need so we don't work on things that will not be used. This is an art. You know, really, retouching is an art. I have the greatest respect for people that's all they do is retouch and correct photography work. I've been doing my own for my entire life, all my own retouching. And when digital came around, you know, I learned it when it was, again, the most primitive. And then it got better and better and easier and more powerful. And it's made us able to do almost anything that we want to do. And being a portrait photographer, I don't use a fraction of what Photoshop can do. I just am making people look better. So there's an abundance of tools that I do not use. So I would rather be extremely competent with the ones that I need rather than just be playing around with other tools that might come out or are exciting new adds to Photoshop. So now we're cropping to get closer to what we're going to use. We're still not even going to use that much, but the rest of Mom still has to go and the hand has to go. Almost now that this is flat, there'll be no more erasing. It's all cloning. Careful cloning, it's not as easy as it sounds. You know, to do the job well, you need to look at your target and choose your source. With every stroke, we're often going and grabbing a new source that's adjacent or the one we want elsewhere. Like in the background, if I'm bringing in a piece of background, I go reach far for the exact tone I want. Here, we're trying to keep this fabric of this little top, shirt, dress, whatever it is, to blend where we are going to remove her hand. So when cloning, it's always a huge effort to find the exact source area, bring it over, and keep overlapping. So here we've got to turn it, rotate the piece so that we can cover up a little bit of some over-blended areas, restore some texture to the area. And I'm working horizontally because it's easier for my right-handedness to do the drawing and painting here, the cloning, than it is to work, you know, a 90 degree from right to left. All right, so don't be afraid to turn your palette, or not your palette, but your canvas around to work on it if it's an easier angle for you. I do that all the time. One thing about photography, though, portrait photography, of course, this was a picture with her mom. So it made sense to have her bow on our left because it kind of balanced her scale with Mom. If she had had that bow on her right, it would be against Mom's face, correct? But now that she's alone in this new rendering, it would be much better had the bow been on the other side, because you don't want something that big and bright to be the first thing the light hits. It should really be in the shadow side so that it could be diminished. It would still be there, it would still be pretty, but it would not be so huge had it been on the other side, more in the shade of the light. So here, choosing, again, clone source, we need to have some of that texture of the waistband, it looks like. So we go and get some of that. And pretty often I don't get very mushy, even with this kind of retouching, but I will use tools to bring back some texture. This is a good trick, creating a vignette without using some kind of phony action that adds black. I cut a piece of the background, copy and paste, transform it, and then I'm going to do a soft erase to create a beautiful vignette. So this is just a piece of the background, pasted on, turned, and now we're going to, well, actually we're going to blur it first. I do that a lot. I use a Gaussian because it's pretty strong. You can make it as strong as you want. And I usually hit it a few times with a Gaussian, and then I'm looking to make sure I've got no horizon line in there. And then just keep on softly erasing to get a real classic studio vignette that is completely colored, pure with her background and her shot. So here we go, just erase some of that layer. And in some cases, I may fade the layer too, but in this one, it looked really good just to erase enough so it created that nice design for her. So now we're flattening it down. And we're finished. I hope you enjoyed this little demo. There's not a lot of detail here, just an overview of how we do some of these specially constructed images. So stay with us on Tim Kelly's Master Photo Techniques. We look to see you again. Thanks.